Would you like to start, Mayor?
Yes, please. Thank you.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome. I'd like to call the March 21st, 2023 City Council meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. GoToWebinar transcripts of council meetings are available upon request after the council meeting. For real-time transcription, visit your Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download services such as Live Transcribe or Live Caption. The public is encouraged to join the meeting online or by phone at the numbers printed on the agenda, which can be found on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov or in person at the main auditorium, South Coast Air Quality Management District. We have also allowed public comments to be submitted in advance to the city clerk. If any were received, they will be noted for the record when we get to the public comment section. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you are giving your permission to be televised. This meeting will be rebroadcast every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and alternate Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and archived for viewing on the city's website at diamondbarca.gov. And now we're going to go ahead and proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation. So please stay standing. If I can have Mayor Pro Tem Liu lead us in the pledge, that'd be great.
Please stand up and place the flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have Pastor Sam Bain with the Northminster Presbyterian Church with us. Pastor Bain?
Please unmute yourself, Pastor Bang.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Let us
Thank you.
pray. Gracious God, we come to you this evening with gratitude, reminded by the rains that you are Creator God and that you care deeply for all your creation. We thank you for the city of Diamond Bar and for all its citizens. We thank you for all the people who work hard to make Diamond Bar a place where every person can live with dignity and flourish in pursuing their calling. We ask for your wisdom and guidance tonight for the City Council. Be with them in their deliberations, discussions, and decisions. Help them to be the voice of the people, especially those who often feel invisible and unheard. Help them to lead with humility, gentleness, and patience. Help them to listen to one another and to all who are here tonight with open-mindedness and generosity of spirit. Grant them strength to tackle the challenges Diamond Bar faces with vision and perseverance, even those that seem intractable. Above all, give them a love for the community they serve and help them to lead with gratitude and joy. May you bless the city of Diamond Bar so that Diamond Bar can be a blessing to its people. Amen.
Amen. I would want somebody to do this for me, so put your color down.
Thank you, Pastor Bain. Please be seated. At this point, City Clerk Santana, can you please take the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Lowe is absent. Councilmember Tang?
Here.
Councilmember Tai?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Liu?
Here.
Mayor Chow?
Here, thank you. Now move on to approval of agenda. City Manager Fox, are there any changes to the agenda as presented?
Mayor, there's no changes to the agenda this evening.
Thank you. The agenda is hereby approved. We'll go ahead and move on to item 1, special presentation, certificates, proclamation. We have none. And we'll move on to city manager reports and recommendations. Mr. Fox.
No additional reports this afternoon.
Thank you. We'll move on to public comments. Public comments, the time reserved on each regular meeting agenda to provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the City Council on consent calendar items or other matters of interest not on the agenda that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Council. Although the City Council values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, members of the City Council or staff may only briefly respond to public comments if necessary, but no extended discussion and no action on such matters may take place. There is a 5-minute maximum time limit when addressing the City Council. At the time, I'll call up speakers who have submitted a speaker card first. Then City Clerk Santana will ask for those callers joining on the teleconference on the phone who may wish to speak under public comments. I do have 2 speaker cards. We'll start with Ms. Cynthia Yu.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and members of the audience. My name is Cynthia Yu from Diamond Bar Library. On Thursday, March 30th at 4 p.m., we'll have a puppy show for children ages 5 to 11 with their parents and caregivers. A boy befriends a peaceful poetry-loving dragon, but a knight was hired to slay the dragon. Can the boy, the dragon, and the knight work together for their happy ending? Please join the puppy show to find out. And we'll start a new series of Smarty Pants Storytime on Tuesday, April 4th at 10 a.m. Enjoy books, songs, rhymes, and movement while learning school readiness skills and having fun. The storytime is for ages 2 to 5 with their parent and caregiver. Please visit our website, lacountylibrary.org, for additional program information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yu. And I have Alan Wilson. Please come to the mic.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Alan Wilson. I'm a Diamond Bar resident. Last Thursday, I sent 5 of you council members an email regarding considering an ordinance or some policy reviewing the use of the pesticides in our municipal parks and our right-of-ways and so forth. I brought this folder here because in the last century, I took a class at Mount Antonio College called Human and the Environment. And a lot of things I learned in that class, I didn't do too great in that class, but a lot of things I learned in that class was that the use of the pesticide seeped into our soil system and our water system and so forth. But now we have a vegetation that's growing really crazy after all the rain we're having. My concern is that I do see on Golden Spring, as you go on, if you go on Copley Drive, you make a right turn on Copley Drive, for example, you see somebody spraying on that one section of the property. I think that is a private property. I don't think it's a city property. But my point is the fact that I'm very concerned about the use of the pesticides seeping into our soils, and it hurts the environment that's been used and so forth. Lately, I've noticed we've been seeing a lot more hummingbirds flying into our city and so forth, especially my patio. I'm like, where are these hummingbirds coming from? But these pesticides are very concerning. I would request the City Council look into this and what policy could be established to ban the usage of them on our city parks. But we have an obligation to preserve the environment for future generations to come. In the class that I've learned, they ask a lot of questions. What kind of pesticides? What is first and second generation pesticides? The name of pesticides, so forth. It was, but something I think the city council should look into. The other thing, on the second item I want to bring up tonight is that you're considering the housing element and the general plan for the housing element. I understand housing is a big concern in the state of California. Affordability is a concern for a lot of people. Last Saturday, I believe Governor Gavin Newsom announced the setting up of mini shelters. They're distributing them, working with the conjunction of the National Guard. And they're establishing these mini homes in Sacramento, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. I called Assembly Woman Lisa Calderon's office to find out if we're housing these homeless individuals in these homes, in these mini homes. I asked the question, was there any benchmark for these individuals for obtaining a job or job training? You know, there's always a benchmark for everything we do in life. There's a benchmark in business, there's a benchmark for city, there's a benchmark for everything. So I asked this, somebody in woman's office and her staff, is there any benchmark for these homeless individuals to live in these homes? They said no. I'm kind of surprised that this is happening and we're not, or these people go to be housed in there and there is no criteria for them to look for a job and attain some kind of job training or something like this. We need to look at the policy of whether it is feasible for the taxpayer to pay for this and continuously. The governor has boasted spending billions and billions of dollars to homelessness up and down the state with no results. And then I know that the city had worked with the state developing this the housing element, and it took a lot of expense of your time and resources to do this. But you know, that people are being pushed out of their homes because they can't afford rent. I have been arguing I want the business community to step up to the plate, take some social responsibility to compensate your workers if you're on a payroll. If you're owner of the company and you live in $1 million house and your employees living in a shack, something's not right here. But anyway, so those are the only two topics I want to bring up tonight. I want to thank you for your time, and everyone stay dry.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. And those are the only cards I have. City Clerk Santana, were there any emails received or are there any callers on the line?
There were no emails submitted for public comment tonight. There is a caller on the line, so if this caller would like to provide a public comment, please click on the raised hand icon in the GoTo of our program, and I will unmute you. No hands raised, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to make a public comment? Last chance. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and close public comments, and we'll move on to item number 4, schedule of future events. Mr. Fox.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On the schedule of events for the next couple of weeks, there will be a community update on the Town Center specific plan tomorrow evening, Wednesday, March 22nd, starting at 6 p.m. at the Diamond Bar Center. The Parks and Rec Commission will be meeting on Thursday, March 23rd, starting at 6:30 p.m. at the Windmill Community Room at City Hall. Coffee with the Cop will be held on Tuesday evening, March 28th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in the Sprouts Center on Diamond Bar Boulevard. The Planning Commission will be meeting on Tuesday, March 28th at 6:30 p.m. in the Windmill Community Room at City Hall. And to celebrate our 34th year of cityhood, the fun and exciting Windmill Hunt will return and begin April 1st and run all month long. Windmill hunting can be done at your own pace, and registration is open on the city's website or in person at the Diamond Bar Center. Happy hunting. On our next City Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 4th, starting at 6:30 p.m. here at the AQMD Auditorium. And that concludes the schedule of events.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Now let's move on to consent calendar.
On the consent calendar this evening, you have approval of the minutes from the study session and regular meeting of March 7th, ratification of the check register dated March 1st through March 14th, approval of the treasurer's statement for February, approval of the annual general plan status report for 2022, approval of the annual housing element progress report for 2022, approval of the Fifth Amendment to the Consultant Services Agreement with RKA Consulting, revising the list of contracted building and safety personnel, and authorizing one additional permit technician to be added to the list of full-time benefited positions, city personnel. Adoption of Ordinance 01-2023 by title only, which I will read. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Diamond Bar, California, amending sections 2.32.040, 2.36.040, and 2.40.040 of the Diamond Bar City Code, revising the terms of office and timeline to fill vacancies for city commissions. Approval of a construction agreement with COP Contracting for the Area 2 Residential Street Rehabilitation Project and the Arterial Street Rehabilitation Project on Golden Springs from Brea Canyon to Grand Avenue, including a budget amendment and a determination that the project is considered categorically exempt Class 1 from the California Environmental Quality Act. And your last item is approval of amendment number 1 to a traffic signal maintenance services agreement with Unix, increasing the annual not-to-exceed amount. And that concludes the consent calendar for this evening.
Thank you. Would anyone like to pull any items for discussion? Seeing none, can I have a motion for approval?
Mayor, I'll motion for approval for all items.
Great. Do I have a second?
A second.
Great. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Liu and a second by Councilmember Tang. City Clerk Santana, could you take the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Lowe is absent. Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Councilmember Tai?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Liu?
Yes.
Mayor Chow?
Yes, motion carries 4-0. And we'll move on to item number 6, public hearings. We have none. Item number 7, council consideration. We have none. And we'll go and move on to council subcommittee reports and meeting attendance reports. And I'll start on my left with the Councilmember Tai.
Thank you. As the sky continues to fall, I would recommend everybody take advantage of the sand that's available at our fire stations. I'm one of those people that believes if I forget my umbrella, it's going to rain. So if I put the sand up, it will stop raining. I think there's some logic there. I'm not positive. Last week at the Contract Cities board meeting at Southern California Gas Company, got to see, I guess you would call it a trial. Nobody's living in it, an actual home that is hydrogen powered. And today at Foothill Transit, we saw hydrogen powered buses. So guess what? We've seen the future, and it is really fascinating when you think about what they're able to do with cleaning the air that we breathe. And I'm not certain, but I swear on my way here today I saw Noah when I passed the golf course, and I'd like staff to look into that and see if there's any way we can help him. With that, I'll say good night and God bless you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Tang?
Yeah, last week I have attended one of our senior associations meetings and activities at the Heritage Park, and I have a very nice talk with a group, and they informed me that they have actually collaborated with the city to send a letter to Congresswoman Linda Sanchez for some funding opportunities. I think that's very good. We encourage our community groups to continue to do that in coordination, in collaboration with our city to get more funding. And we have some funding for the community building fund, I believe, that, but there's other groups that may need more funding. And I talked to Congresswoman Linda Sanchez, and she said that she's very happy to help all the needy group to get additional funding, if possible, that all she needs is to have all the groups who are interested in getting funding to send the application grant to a grant application to her office. Her office staff will try to look into different opportunities for the funding for the different groups in our community. So I encourage different groups in our community to submit an application for funding if they need a fund. And that will be my report. Good night.
Thank you, Councilmember Tang. We'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Liu.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week I attended orientation at Sanitation District, and with all the rain that we're getting, one of the things that coming from a drought and too much rain is the ability to capture them. One of the discussions on that is featuring how we can capture some of this rain and inject it back into the water tables to do that and bring it back as drinking water. So that's quite amazing. And the other thing that we learned also is the Sanitation District does have a system of turning waste into green energy. So that is very encouraging. And also at the COGS, San Gabriel Valley COGS meeting, we learned the company in San Gabriel Valley it found a way to build interim homes with modular that will bring the cost quite down significantly and also increase the speed of building interim homes for emergency use. That is quite amazing. And next, I'd like to congratulate the Diamond Bar ASO's 14U team, girls team, for making the state tournament and then winning the state title. With all the rings that we're getting and experiencing and very heavy at times, please be safe out there and then also keep check up on each other. And then with the windmill hunt coming up, we look forward to seeing everyone out there. Me and the two girls will be out there hunting for windmills. We'll see you out there. With that, then I'd like to say good night. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Just quickly, want to first say a happy belated 6th birthday to my daughter, Cadence, who's watching somewhere. Hi, Cadence. Her birthday was last week. And also wanted to, yes, a couple things. We attended the South Bay Legislative Summit a couple weeks ago in South Bay, where we heard from Senator Gibson and Assemblymember Senator Bradford, and Assemblymember Gibson about some of the things that they're working on, along with Supervisor Janice Hahn. And we also attended the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, which was actually held in Diamond Bar. There's a lot of predictions about what potentially can happen in our region. Not all bad news, but it looks like we do have they call it a short and shallow recession coming up. So we're well aware and we'll prepare for what's to come. That's all I have. So with that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:51. Good night. Thank you.
That's got to be your quickest meeting ever.
So far. 21 minutes. I had a feeling it was going to be short. But, thank you so much.